Hey, how are you? And welcome to this year's annual Head Start kickoff meeting. We have a lot in store for you guys today, so let's just get right into it. Today's objective, we're going to discuss key language milestones from birth through 5 years old, strategies to help achieve these milestones, and developmental delays for you to be aware of. Now, a lot of the teachers and staff know who I am, but for those parents who may not know who I am, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Brian Hacken, and I'm a speech language pathologist. I'm a school-based SLP, and in addition, I also have a private practice. While I love working with all students, I do have a specialty in stuttering, fluency, and social skills. Now, before we get into the milestones, no matter what I'm speaking about, or where I'm speaking, or who I'm speaking to, I always like to talk about the value in reading. You must read to your children from the earliest age as possible. It's important for you to sit with your child. This can begin as early in the child's life as possible, but between 8 months and 1 year, do as much of this as possible. Now, I know most of your children are in our program, so they don't fall in between these ages. But, if you have any kids in the future, please keep this in mind. Not only is it quality time with your child, but it's also important for your child to hear you read and also look at the pictures. So 5 milestones that I want you to keep in mind. I'm going to be pointing them out, but I broke this up into 4 columns. And this is for a typically developing child. And, you'll see the 4 columns: 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. So no child is the same. And some milestones that kids reach between 2 and 3 years old. Some kids might reach between 1 and 2 years old, and the same goes on. So just because your child isn't hitting that milestone in between those ages, don't be alarmed. Kids do process information and hit milestones at their own rate, but we should also be aware of these. So I really bolded the 5 milestones I would like for you to keep in mind. Between 1 and 2 years old, you want your child to be able to put 2 words together. And now you'll notice that I also have that same bullet between 2 and 3, again, because not every child is the same, but around the 2-year mark is when we want them to hit this milestone. Also, between 2 and 3, we want our child to ask who, what, where, and why questions. Who is coming over today? What are you cooking? Where are we going? Why do you do that? These are all questions that we want, and we want to encourage our kids to be saying. As we move over to 3 to 4 years old, we want them to understand and answer simple questions like, where's daddy's shoes? Go get daddy's shoes. They should also be able to talk about what happened during the day. They don't need to be in-depth answers, but they should definitely recall what they did and express what they did. And then as we move over to 4 to 5 years old, we want the children to know their names. Obviously, letters and numbers should all be very recognizable to them. So, when should your child see an SLP, or should your child see an SLP? This is a question that I get very often, and many of my speech and language pathologists get as well. So here are 3 developmental delays for you to be aware of. There are many, but I'm just highlighting these 3. If your child is not using any verbal words to communicate by the age of 2, this is a red flag, and you should definitely contact an SLP. If you or anyone in your family cannot understand most of what your child is saying by the age of 3, and if your child often repeats sounds and/or words, this could be indicative of a child stuttering. So, 3 parenting strategies to achieve these language milestones. There are many strategies, but I'm just going to walk you through 3. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and I'm also going to show you a little video to help elaborate on this. So my parenting tool number 1, expanding and recasting. Expanding and recasting is the most effective and efficient way to, 1, grow your child's vocabulary, which we want all children to do. The more words they're exposed to, the more words they could be saying, the better off they're going to be in the long run. We also want them to, through expanding and recasting, it will improve their overall communication. It will grow your child's vocabulary, as I said before, and have extended, meaningful conversations with your child. Having this vocabulary and improved communication, it'll help those conversations get more in-depth and overall longer. So let's watch a little video on expanding and recasting.
In this video, we'll learn about the strategies of expanding and recasting. Both of these strategies are ways to provide your child with high-quality language input so that they can become better communicators. Expanding means taking what your child has communicated and adding on a little more information. Expansion can be used to add information to any form of communication. If your child points to a dog, you can say, "Dog." By labeling the dog, you've added a little more information. If your child points to a dog and says, "Dog," you can expand their word by saying, "Look at that big dog." If your child says, "Doggy, run," you can expand their short sentence by saying, "The dog runs fast." Recasting means taking something that your child has communicated that might not be quite correct and saying it back the correct way with emphasis on the new information. If your child says, "Me want cookie," you can recast their sentence by saying, "I want a cookie." If your child says, "That dog run really fast," you can recast their sentence by saying, "Yes, that dog ran really fast." If your child says, "Him kicked the ball," you can recast their sentence by saying, "He kicked the ball far." By using expansion and recasting, you can help your child continue to grow their vocabulary, increase their grammatical development, and improve their overall communication skills.
So as you can see, everything can be a lesson for your child. And the way it's presented, it's not as though that you're going to be teaching them. It's just going to be casual conversation. So something to think about the next time you and your kids are hanging out. And as we go to parenting tool number 2, reading. So I know I mentioned this at the beginning, and I go through that before any talk that I have with parents. But here's the benefits of reading. It develops a special bond with your child. It prepares your child for academic success, improves their imagination and overall creativity, and it can create a lifelong love for reading, which is really important overall. And let's watch a little video on this.
The reading success pathway, not something you hear about often, but it's the path we all followed in becoming strong readers. All kids need the right supports at the right time to move along this pathway. It's a process, Kids don't teach themselves to read. Adults play a pivotal role in every child's journey. From the time your child is born, they acquire a set of skills and abilities that lay the foundation for reading, like the ability to express themselves, understand what is said to them, hear and manipulate sounds and words, and recognize letters and the sounds they make. Take Alex. Alex is starting kindergarten this year with a solid set of skills to begin learning how to read. During the year, he will deepen his ability to identify letters, letter sounds, and hear and manipulate sounds and words. He will also start to learn basic sight words. Equipped with these skills, he will begin to learn how to decode or sound out words. Children must practice these skills repeatedly. When he enters first grade, he'll strengthen his phonics skills and learn how to sound out more complex words. This will allow him in later grades to build his vocabulary, read with speed and accuracy, and develop comprehension skills. Sometimes children don't master a skill right away and will need extra help to keep from falling further behind. With the right interventions and support, we can help them stay on track to ultimately become strong readers.
So as you can see, it's really a building block, and those building blocks start from the beginning. And also, you want to try and have a literate home. Having books, pencils, papers, crayons, that is going to help expand the excitement for reading and creativity. So let's just try and keep those books out and keep on reading to our little loved ones. And parenting tool number 3, it's obvious, talking. Now there's 3 different ways that you can help literacy with your children. It's there's self-talk, parallel talk, and toy talk. Now the benefits of these are, again, growing their vocabulary, increasing the sentence length. So instead of answering with one or two words, they're really expanding. They're working on 4, 5, 6 sentence utterances, and also learning about different concepts. So here we go with another video.
I have a college essential that every student can use to make their work lives a little bit easier, and that would
Again,
be
I'm sorry
Grammarly.
for this.
For those of you that don't know,
In this video, we're going to learn about the strategies of using self-talk, parallel talk, and toy talk when you play with your child. Self-talk is simply talking about what you are doing. Think of it as providing narration for your own actions, similar to what you might see on a cooking show. Here's an example of self-talk in action. Vroom, vroom! Push the truck. I'll make it go fast. Oops, too fast. With self-talk, I talked about what I was doing. Parallel talk is talking about what your child is doing. Think of it as providing a play-by-play of what you see, just like a sportscaster. Here's an example of parallel talk in action. Vroom, vroom! Whoa, you pushed the truck. You got it! With parallel talk, I talked about what my child was doing. Toy talk is talking about what is happening with the toys you're playing with. You can describe what they look like, where they're going, whether they fit, or anything else you can think of. Here's an example of toy talk in action. Vroom, vroom! That's a fast yellow truck. There it goes. Uh-oh, the truck crashed. With toy talk, I talked about what the truck was doing, how fast it was going, and what it looked like. You don't have to use these strategies alone when you're playing with your child. They can all be used at the same time. Here's an example of all of the strategies in action together. Vroom, vroom! You pushed that truck fast. I'll push it back. Uh-oh, the truck crashed! Using self-talk, parallel talk, and toy talk provides your child with really great language input to help them grow their vocabulary, increase the length of their sentences, and learn about different concepts.
So those are the three different ways that we can talk and educate our children. All types of all types of talk you've probably already been doing with your kids, but now you actually have a label to go along with it. So just to recap what we said, you now know how to understand these various language milestones. You know some signs when you might want to bring your child to see an SLP, and strategies to help your child achieve these language milestones. Walking away with these three buckets of information will hopefully make you an empowered parent, the feeling of an empowered parent, knowing that you have the ability for the success of helping your child reach these milestones. So thank you for sitting with me today. If there's any questions about today's presentation or any other speech and language pathology matters, please feel free to reach out to me. You can also ask your teachers to reach out to me. They have my information. Again, my name is Brian Hacken, and you can reach me at briantheslp@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.